Hello. One? This one might not be as long.
But
yes, hello again. This week we are doing Director's Eye, and our task for this week is to direct our own monologues that we were given.
Yep.
So, to begin this task, what was your approach? What was your first feelings to directing someone else? To actually start directing someone, and actually sort of, what was your first sort of attitude towards directing? I guess I'm saying.
I think from our previous week, doing a Pot of Gold is where we had really established that there's too many cooks.
To being there only being you and not.
So now it being on a one-to-one basis.
Yeah. So probably should have given more context to this. It was us directing someone else. So there's two of you.
Yeah.
So one person directed the other person's monologue.
Yeah.
And that person who done that. So you both directed each other's monologues.
See what I was going to say. So we were given a choice of 4 monologues from the play Many Moons by Alice Birch, and there was 2. You had Juniper and
Ollie, Robert,
and Meg. Yeah.
Ollie, Robert, and Meg. So we had 4 monologues to choose from.
So 2 female, 2 male.
Yes.
And it was our choice whether we wanted to do colourblind casting or gender blind casting. And that was all our choice for what we wanted to do. And for those, we had about a minute and a half to read it, maybe a bit longer.
Minute and a half to read it.
And then
choose one.
Which one stood out to you?
Which one can you imagine in your head? Next part was standing up, choosing someone to.
I think, yeah, so if we stick to, for me, reading the monologues or hearing the monologues, straight away I wasn't drawn to the male monologues.
You wasn't?
And I don't know whether that was because I couldn't visually see myself playing that part, but I could visually see myself playing Juniper or Meg, so I found it easier to see how I would play it out in my head, to then give that vision to someone else. That could have possibly been it for me, but then with Meg and Juniper, Meg goes on about Meg's mind in that monologue sounds very twisted, very. She talks about happy things.
Yeah,
and then it switches to like there's a dead rabbit in the compost bin.
Yeah.
But
we was tackling very heavy material.
Yeah, and then
very heavy material.
Juniper's very like uplifting and girly and trying to find love. She's very driven by
perspective, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
That's where you saw it.
Yeah.
Where. Yeah.
I think Juniper. She looked driven by love, I would say, and then with Robert's and Ollie's,
they were in a sticky situation. Like the first thing I saw, I shouldn't have looked at it, but it was the page number.
Yeah.
And I think it was for the Robert, the speech I said was like 63, so I sort of knew it was towards the end of. So he's an already established character. Where if you looked at other people like Juniper and stuff,
it's their introduction.
It was their introduction. So we look.
I didn't pick up on that. That's quite a good thing to think of. Yeah.
Yeah, I sort of from that I know that was an established character, so he didn't need to introduce himself.
Yeah.
He just had to sort of be in the room. So that was.
He was in a moment.
Yeah, he put himself in a sticky situation where there was no context. There was context to be made of what Robert said. Where when there's an introduction, there's sort of context in its context.
Yeah, I get that. No, so with that, I was, as I said, I was torn between Meg's monologue, because I could see, for me, I envisioned like saying talking about the rabbit in the compost bin and putting your hand up and moving around the body, and I could see that, and I could see I'm walking down the stairs. I envisioned 2 chairs. Get up onto the chairs, go down, I'm downstairs, laying on the floor underneath the bay windows, down the steps, imagining anything. The chairs are the window seat, looking at all the windows and how I see the world, and I could really see that as Meg. I could visually see Meg playing.
Yeah.
And I think it wasn't such. I saw myself. I think I'm contradicting because it wasn't so much that I saw myself, but I could see someone playing that. But with Juniper, I could also see that, and she was very much like She wasn't there wasn't much movement with it. There wasn't much physicality. She was just standing, talking,
and it was really
she was quite.
It was really nice to watch other people's interpretations of what the same.
Yeah,
the same monologue.
No two people are the same.
Because like you just said, you sort of brought up that I noticed that it was towards the end of the play, and some people, other people didn't.
Yeah, I didn't pick up on that.
That's made me realise maybe I took it in a different way that someone else was, but purely because when we was looking at interpretations of that monologue, there were different approaches to how the text was.
Yeah. No, I see that.
Yeah, there was different texts as to how I was directing it to someone.
Yeah.
And different directors, because I didn't need to make context. There was something we had to try and guess what was happening.
Yeah.
And looking the next day after, we found out that one of the characters was a paedophile. Ollie and Robert were essentially paedophile characters.
Oh yes, so that was.
That was so me and the actor, we sort of got a hint of, I thought this guy's gonna kill this girl or some sort of eerie thing, and one of my thoughts coming into my brain was, if you have to destroy your laptop, why would anyone need to destroy the laptop? Say that you have some evidence or something. So that I was in a ballpark.
Putting parts together.
Yeah, I was in a ballpark.
You're making your own story in a way.
Yeah. I was in a ballpark. Yeah. And yeah, that was quite fun in a way, because I sort of hit the nail in the head without even knowing there was a nail.
Yeah. No, that's a good discovery, I'd say. But that's what I was thinking as I was talking, trying to map it out. I think I'm more certain that I wanted to direct the Juniper monologue on the basis that she was quite in my head, she was quite static. It felt like a one-to-one conversation. However, Meg's physicality really drew me, in my head, the images, that I wanted to push myself and do that. So I did pick to do Meg's, which is why I was trying to get on. What was your plan behind casting, or why did you pick the person?
So my first thought is, so to give a bit of context, we was in a room and we split up into 4 monologues.
Yeah.
And the teacher said, what we want you to do is find someone in the room that you want to direct and be directed by, and then do a monologue with them. Yeah.
So with that,
I had an idea.
So the person that was being, so say if I pick Luke to direct, I would be directing Luke, and Luke would be my actor, but Luke would also be directing me, and I would be.
And you have to persuade someone to do that. And in this scenario,
some people did have to really persuade and try and find persuasion.
Yeah.
However, some people have clicked and went together. And they had each other.
Like we said with the casting, if we didn't know each other completely, I think that would have worked a little more better.
That goes back to an earlier, a different video.
Someone else knowing each other's talents.
Yeah.
Like the
in that room, really, if we didn't know each other's talents or what each other is like, being able to adapt, it would have gone off appearance.
It would have literally gone off how you see the person and the character.
In your mind.
Because as I was persuading the characters, an actor to go work with me, one of the other, or 2 of the actors rejected him because he knew him and he knew he could work with him.
Okay.
Rather than it being on merit.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Being on. So that sort of took me by. So it was. It was a little bit corrupted, I'd say, the casting thing. But I did get to work with the actor I wanted to do it with, and I think it did turn out well. But when you're actually working with someone, you sort of do pick up on.
What about? Did you think that you wouldn't be picked, or you'd be someone's last resort?
Yeah, I did. Think
that crossed my mind.
I was like, none of these. Everyone I know exactly in this room
who
people are going to go for,
yeah.
And it's going to be really bloody annoying. And friendships stick together.
I had in mind, I could see people who would work with each other, and I could see how it worked for monologues, and I felt glad that I could see that. But then I thought, was everyone going to be closed-minded and just stick to what they know, rather than take? But
I can't imagine some people in my company going to me for merit, going to me as an actor, but them knowing me. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
A lot of it, I did feel it wasn't fair. A lot of it, like someone might have thought about me doing their monologue, but then they haven't got they just because they know me and because they've sort of really did disrupt the energy.
So did you approach?
I know the person I wanted.
The person approach you?
I approached them. The person I wanted to, because I got a good sense from him. I was like, I know exactly what I want, and he was an underdog. I'd have said he was an underdog who I wanted to do it for, because I could have gone for the people that we was like, oh, we know who's gonna sort of end up together. But yeah, I knew who I wanted to do it, and I did get to work with the person and do it, and it was a weird reaction. Did you think what monologue did you say you was doing?
So I directed the Meg monologue.
Meg monologue.
But for me,
did gender come into a role when you was picking the person to work with?
That was something I was gonna approach. That
I wanted the male to be one with me.
The vision
of a female.
I wanted to do like blind casting.
But did you have?
But then now I'm really sort of thinking this process through. But I said that I couldn't envision myself. No, I said that I could see someone doing my monologue, but not necessarily that person being me, if you understood. But I would know how to map it out.
Yes.
But then I picked someone that I'd say looked like me. If you understand
who?
I had Holly.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And
so sort of your height or your sort of.
In the same casting bracket, I'd put.
Yeah, in the same. So you picked someone in the same. Yeah,
no, I picked someone in the same casting bracket, which I think was something that happened. It's something that happened that I wasn't aware of. But now that I've addressed it, I was taking a step back. That although I said that I hadn't envisioned, and maybe I had, because I picked someone.
Yeah. But
then again, Holly came over to me, and like both of us had each other in mind, and could that have been because we were alike, or we're similar in our ways?
So you directed the Meg monologue.
I directed the Meg monologue.
And then
I acted as Juniper.
Juniper. Okay.
So I was director.
Yeah.
Which thing is
I think gender did come into a role because I didn't.
Not for everyone.
Not for. I think for certain people, I think as a male picking a male monologue, I wanted a male. But there were females who picked males monologues, who they.
But then that's what I mean. It's a dynamic that changes, like from how we said about I'm Amiga, like with the mum and daughter with the skirt, how if it was a father and daughter, it changed it. When they start, one of the monologues is talking about a rape, and it gets on to like the plan of it, but. There was about four or five people that done each monologue.
Yeah, and one of them was a girl.
Yeah, and one of them was a female, and when you saw that happen, it changed the whole monologue in itself.
Yeah, it changed the monologue.
Between each person.
But when we actually come to staging it and doing all that stuff, they wasn't a male role. Do you know what I mean? There was a subject of the role. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It was really.
It was interesting to see though, to see that as a female perspective, because I think like in a society, it's going completely deep. In society, it's like you put it as a male.
A male
gets stereotyped as being able to perform a rape. However, in this scenario, we had a female talking about a plan for a rape, and it completely it really questioned everything, and it sent a whole new emotion. I'd say a whole new shiver.
Yeah. I think about a year and a bit ago, I was talking to my dance director, she's a choreographer, and she said how men have different feelings to women. And it was more about politically she spoke it, but if you watch it now, men naturally have more of a urge to reproduce sort of thing, where you don't get that typical stereotype of a woman, and the different feelings naturally of men and women changes it. So I think biology. How much do you think biology actually works in this game, just in general?
What do you mean?
In the game, in the acting world, because biology. We live in a post-world, 21st century, where we accept anyone of any gender, colour, and all that, and that's completely fine. I'm completely with it. How far do you take biology? just natural human biology into account of, there was nothing wrong with a girl doing that role, because girls can be abusing, they can abuse a boy, a little boy. They can abuse.
It's what's...
How far do you think biology should work or should come into play?
In that situation, I feel the fact that you had a female play that role impacted it so much more, because it goes against like a societal stereotype that only males can perform that act, or it's more that a male perform that act, and it's like, it makes me think and be like, oh no, this is, women are equally as capable, and this is done by women, and it has been done by women. For me, it makes more of a thought process to challenge the norm. And I like it when like, the norm is challenged. I really do. And I think with that, it's just to have, in that situation, to have colourblind casting and gender-blind casting, I think it's so,
It can help. Or it can help hinder or go up, down, left, right, it can do.
Yeah. But this is a complete different thing, but it's, in addition to have that equal opportunity, I think it's really good to have a really
yeah. So when we're going back to directing, went a bit divulged there. So going back to directing, how did you find your first time sort of directing someone in art? Oh, have you ever directed anyone?
I've directed scenes before. I have done directing, but I've done directing where I've been in the piece as well.
Okay, yeah. So from actually taking it from a director, how did you?
To not being in the piece. I think.
Did you have that vision? Like you said, you had a vision of.
I had a vision, but it's you see something and then you try and tell someone what you see, and it's like.
Yeah, that was the main point that come up from.
You're trying to say, if I try to describe something to you, and you've never seen it, and I'm trying to.
So it's the same thing.
Going, and then you've just got to keep. You don't want to bombard the actor with all this information and this should happen, this should happen, this should happen. Because it's a point that was made that you don't want it to be like it to seem that it's a director that said that. So say if we're just talking right now and then it's like a pause for a moment. I've been directed to pick up my cup and then put it back down. Carry on with saying you don't want it to seem robotic and as though a director has said it, you want it to all feel natural. I think you're trying to find the natural. To find the natural sense of it. I would say so much naturalism because the way I approached the text wasn't in a naturalistic way. So yeah. Yeah,
definitely the style did come into play with
that. Yeah, style.
Style, just it being unnatural. Was an unnatural play. And for me, working with actually directing, I found it really easy. Like, I know it took it from a weird point.
Yeah.
Getting my point across.
So who did you direct?
I directed Q, which is one of our actors.
Yeah.
And I found directing, this is what comes back to my point of me thinking that producing might be, or directing or creating my own work might be a forte.
You enjoy creating
yeah, because it comes so naturally.
Yeah.
And I said to the director after, am I ignorant? Because that felt too easily.
Yeah.
And I had an image in my brain. And
well, you should credit yourself.
Yeah.
If you think that feels too easy, challenge yourself further.
Yeah. And to do more of it, because I knew what I wanted. I wanted the actor to be on the floor, to him sitting forwards, sort of working himself